that music means that it's time for episode 3 of Podcast Rewritten. Hi, I'm Ralph, and I'm not your typical Toontown Rewritten player.
Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Annie, and I am your typical Toontown Rewritten player. What's up, guys? So today we have a very special episode of Podcast Rewritten.
How special?
Extremely special. I'd say this is our coolest episode yet, you guys. All right, you're gonna want to listen to this.
Wait a minute. Episode 1 and episode 2 both were pretty darn cool.
I don't know. I think you're not going to want to miss this. This is by far our coolest episode yet. You know, when we first started this, I didn't expect, we're just doing this for the love of the game, but...
Yeah, absolutely. And now it turns out we have listeners all over the United States. Not only that, Asia, Europe, and South America.
That's right, you guys. We are so overwhelmed and appreciated of the love and support that we've gotten so far, the nice DMs and comments. It makes it that much more fun to be playing these games and to be doing this podcast. So with that, I just want to let you guys know that...
my God, I'm so nervous.
So we will be interviewing the creative director of Toontown, Joey Ziolkowski himself.
No.
He gives us an inside glimpse of, where Toontown Rewritten has been and what's to come with Toontown Rewritten in the future.
That is amazing. I kind of sat in during that interview, and when, just by, talking to somebody, you can kind of tell that, they are of, superior intelligence.
Yeah,
that was him.
Very smart, very nice guy. Yeah. It was just a pleasure being able to talk with him and ask him those few questions. It was just absolutely amazing and just such an honor.
Super, super nice guy.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I kind of wanted to know what you've been doing on Toontown this week, because you've been having some problems on Toontown, haven't you?
Yes. So I have a toon task where I need to get 100 or 2 toon tasks actually. One where I need to get 100 Skellicogs from the coin mint, and another one where 110 or 120 from the coin or the dollar mints, something of that. I've been so overwhelmed by this.
Annie, I don't even know what you're talking about. Skellicogs, mint. You used some other
the dollar mint. There's a bouillon mint.
Dollar mint. I have no idea what any of that is.
Well,
I'm still in Donald's dock.
So what I mean by this is the coin mint is located in the Cashbot HQ, and you'll get there. My laugh is 94, so once you kind of start going up the ranks, you'll get to these areas. The reason, now it might sound silly, but I want to elaborate on the reason why I'm so frustrated by this, is because in these mints, in order to get to the cogs, there's some parkour.
Parkour.
Yeah. So I'm happening to struggle with the parkour, and these other tunes are just getting through this so much faster than I am, and I'm just kind of guys, I'm so sorry I'm having to make you wait up for me, but I'm just not good at this.
When you say parkour, I'm thinking of those guys who jump off the side of a building.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. So when the tunes are doing it, that's exactly what it looks like. They're jumping through the lava, onto these platforms, and
there's lava?
You'll see exactly what I mean when you get there, but I'm just not good at it. I can't get through it, and I have to, mind you, defeat 100 Skellicogs, and not every cog in the mint is a Skellicog. So I have to do this how many times?
So approximately how long have you been on this one specific toon task?
So I've been really putting it off because it's quite embarrassing, when my toon just doesn't get through it, or I run out of time, or I die, and then I let everybody down. So I've been kind of putting it off and working on my other task. I've been, fishing or doing a lot of golfing. I've been doing other things. I really need to work on it.
It sounds like there's really nothing to it but just to get down and do it.
You know what? You're exactly right about that. You are exactly right. I just really need to, start practicing more and just get to it and work on it.
Honestly, I probably need to put a little bit more time in it too. I've been spending my time during the what are they called, cog invasions, and capitalizing on that double bonus you get because I'm trying to build up my sound
Right.
because I've only got that one little horn.
Yes.
So and that doesn't do a lot of damage. So I've been kind of hanging around Toontown Central to get like the
I feel you.
first level, second level cogs, and
Yep.
trying to build up my sound gags. Also, back to Donald's Dock, and when you need laugh points, I found out last week you told me that I'm not looking for ice cream cones, I'm looking for stars.
Yep.
Okay. What you didn't tell me was that the stars are only at the bottom of the pond.
They're all over the playground, I'm pretty sure.
No,
but
absolutely not. I can't find
can't
a
find
single
them?
star.
Well, I haven't been to Donald's Dock in a minute, so.
The stars are at the bottom of the pond. Nothing we
Were
could
you
do.
looking everywhere else?
I
I'm sorry about
searched.
that.
I searched up, down, and sideways. The stars are at the bottom of the pond. I had to find that out myself. I mean, what's the sense of having a pro Toontown rewritten daughter if she's not going to fill me in
I don't
on...
spend my time in Donald's Dock right now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I'm in the coin mint. I'm struggling.
You know something? I don't even know what to say, honestly.
But you know what? I want to get back to the whole sound thing. I want to say that I got my foghorn, and I am just beyond happy because I have been, working on sound for a while, and I was kind of putting it off because, I needed a lot more points. But sound is a very good thing because, when you're in a building or, you're in a CFO or, things like that, and there's a lot of cogs, a lot of tunes like to come together and use sound and just knock all the cogs out because it takes out a lot of cogs at once when you use sound. So the more you train sound,
That's
see what I'm
doing.
saying? Exactly.
Working on my sound. Well, why don't we get to Joey's interview once again? Who we interviewing?
Joey Ziolkowski, the creative director of Toontown himself.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to hear it, and I'm sure our listeners all over the world, which blows my mind to even say that, they're also internationally known.
Yep.
So here it is, the interview with Joey Ziolkowski.
Hey, Joey, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah, we can hear you. So, hey, everybody, we are with Joey Ziolkowski, the creative director of Toontown, Rewritten. And I just wanted to say that it is a complete honor to have you here with us and to be able to interview you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm honored to be here, and I'm so excited to be a part of this podcast. I was telling you when we were messaging that it's really surreal to me that there's something called the Rewritten podcast about all of these cool online games that have been revived because, it's just crazy that we've gotten to this state where there's so many beloved online games that have been revived and rewritten, in Toontown Rewritten's namesake. But yeah, so it's great to be here.
I agree. It is crazy because I've been playing all these games since I was little. And when they announced that all these games were going to be shut down, it truly is completely heartbreaking. So I just want to thank you again for you and all your staff who worked so hard, to revive these games. And, you guys are doing this on a volunteer basis. So I just want to say thank you again. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, and thank you, of course, for playing and supporting, not just Toontown Rewritten, but all these other great games out there too.
Of course. So, it looks like you are based out of Pittsburgh, right?
Yep, that's correct. I moved to Pittsburgh only about a year ago to work at Shell Games, which is where I'm currently employed as a game designer.
That's so awesome. Yeah, my family and I, we actually went to ToonFest at Replay FX a couple of years ago. It was so amazing, being able to meet all the other Toontown Rewritten players and sit in the panels and listen to what's going on. It was just absolutely amazing. I can't wait again to go to ToonFest in the future. It was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I really really wish that we could have done TuneFest last year, and of course because of COVID we couldn't. And this year as well, we aren't doing an in-person TuneFest just out of an abundance of caution.
Right.
Um, but I'm really looking forward to the day that we can get together as Toontown players again to meet in person and just bond over this game that has impacted so many of our lives. Because anyone, like, as as someone who's been to TuneFest, like it's really just a magical experience to be around all of these really awesome people who we've interacted with each other online through our avatars and tunes and everything. But when you get to be with someone in person and bond over this thing that you've only been able to bond thus far through the virtual screen, I don't know, it's just crazy things happen, and a lot of great friendships form as a result.
I completely agree with you. Online, you have all your friends, but it's just completely different in person when you get to see all your friends and interact with each other and stuff. So I want to get into the interview questions now.
Sure.
So is it true that you were only 16 years old when you decided to re-engineer Toontown?
Hey, well, actually, I was only 15.
Wow.
I, and it wasn't quite really my decision or anything to like re-engineer Toontown. Like it wasn't quite sort of like waking up one day and being like, we're gonna do that. We're gonna remake Toontown. It was more sort of like I don't know. At the time I was running a website called Toonbook with my friend Jeremy, who I had met through Toontown. And Toonbook was, as it sounds, it's a Facebook for Toontown players, and it was a way for people to connect with their friends outside of the game without giving away personal information.
Right.
And so, I was involved with the Toontown community through that and through videos that I would make. And, I'd been playing Toontown basically my whole life. And then September 19th, 2013 comes, and Disney announces that they're shutting down the game for good. And there's a month left until that people can keep playing it, and then it's going to be gone forever. And that was shocking, to me and to a lot of other people, because I think while Toontown had certainly declined over the years in terms of updates and, different things going on internally at Disney that just led to layoffs and stuff, it still had a huge player base, and it was something that kind of came out of left field. Like I don't know if anyone really truly anticipated that was going to be happening soon. Like maybe in the next few years, but like not as soon as it did. And so I started talking to my friend Jeremy about like, is there anything that we can do? Like, I know that in the past, like we had talked to people that had considered like making a private server for Toontown because they wanted to make their own content, but it never really worked out. And I was like, I don't know, like people have talked about making a private server before. Is it actually possible? Especially because if you remember, there were back in Toontown Online, there were a lot of hackers that were messing with the game and everything.
Right.
Sometimes for good reasons, sometimes for bad reasons. But there were certainly a decent number of people out there who kind of understood the way that the game worked as a result of that. And it kind of just naturally came together where myself and Jeremy and a handful of other people just kind of found ourselves in the same chat room online talking about, is this possible? Could we actually do this? And we spent the next month from the day that Disney announced that they were closing Toontown until the day that it closed, experimenting and trying to figure out how Toontown could be reverse engineered and how if it was going to be possible at all to bring it back online.
Wow. So that leads me to my next question. Was there any pushback from Disney?
Well, we've actually never heard anything from Disney at all throughout the time that we've been working on Toontown Rewritten, because we aren't associated with Disney in any way. And we make it that very clear when you come to our website. We aren't associated with Disney. We don't make money off of the game. This is just a fan revival because we're players who loved Toontown and loved playing this game, and we want people to be able to keep playing it for as long as possible. And in the beginning, there was this feeling that it wasn't going to last long. Like it was, um, when we announced that we were going to be starting Toontown Rewritten, which we announced on the day that Toontown closed, we thought, maybe this will get a couple hundred players. Maybe it'll last for a couple months, and then either people are going to be bored and be done with it, or Disney's going to come in and say, yeah, you have to stop. You got to shut down. And we kept waiting for that to happen, and it just kind of never did. Like the cease and desist or anything never came. The players kept coming and coming, like growing way exponentially larger than we ever expected. And we've just really been blessed that Toontown is able to still be around, because there's no reason that it should be able to. But just, I think, because of the amazing work that the Toontown Rewritten team has done to, like, very early on, it was very important to us to maintain Disney's image. We wanted to make sure that we were running Toontown in a way that wasn't going to make them upset in any way. We didn't want to make money off of it so that it wouldn't take away from any of their own income, or use copyrighted work that wasn't ours for profit and everything. We didn't want to do any of that. We didn't want to even collect donations. Like, it all just needed to be a very authentic and genuine revival that was coming from this place of love as fans, rather than like trying to capitalize on like this opportunity or something to like make money off of Toontown. Like it was never about that. It was always just about, can we keep this game alive? And I at least think and hope that people within Disney saw that and were able to convince their lawyers, I guess, to stay away from us, and allow us to keep doing what we were doing, because, like, it's not hurting them at all. It's just allowing people who love this game to keep on playing it. That said, we have talked to some people who were formerly from Disney over the years. Like at Toonfest, we've had Jesse Schell and Sean Patton, who were both people who originally worked on the game, come and do a panel for us and talk to Toontown players about their experiences working on the game. We've also talked to Rebecca Metz, who was the community manager of Toontown for a period of time. And even last year at our online Toonfest, we had a panel where we got a bunch of the original Toontown Online developers together for the first time in probably more than a decade, and talk about their experiences with the game, and show support for the community as it is today, which was really heartwarming to see. So even though we've not had contact with Disney directly, we've at least had contact with their former developers, who are just continue to love and support the Toontown community, and are thrilled that people are still playing their game after all these years.
Wow, I'm so happy to hear that. I remember when Toontown Rewritten was first announced, just waiting and waiting for it to be released, and I'm so happy to hear how much it has grown.
I know, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's been really crazy to see how much response Toontown Rewritten has gotten. Because, like I said, we only expected this to be maybe a few hundred people in the beginning, and then now we've got over 2 million registered players, and it's insane that we're now almost 8 years since the game closed and Toontown Rewritten started, and it's still growing. There's still people playing every day, and still people excited about new content, and sharing their fan art, and creating podcasts like this for the community. Like it's still a bustling community almost a decade after it originally closed.
That's so amazing. So since Toontown Rewritten is a free-to-play game now, how do you wonderful staff keep this game going?
So we keep the game going just through our own internal donations. We don't accept any monetary donations from the public, and we don't require our staff to pay money to keep the game going. But luckily, we just have a really awesome and generous team who is not only willing to donate their time every single day almost to keeping the game running, but even their money to allow us to keep the servers running. And luckily, I think as a result of this, we've kind of we've almost been forced to optimize the game in ways that we wouldn't have had to otherwise, because we're trying to keep the costs down, and the amount of expenses that we have. And where the original game might have taken a whole lot more server capacity and everything to keep it running, at higher budget machines and whatnot, I think we've managed to optimize it a lot so that we can keep our server costs down. But it does certainly still cost a lot of money, and it's only possible because of the team who is funding the game and allowing it to continue to be online, as well as continuing to develop it with their time.
That is so fantastic. Do you guys ever plan to reveal what is under the cloud on the map in the sticker book?
Yeah, that's a question that we get a lot. And it's something that we do want to do eventually, but I do want to be upfront that it's not something we're working on right now. So our big focus right now, that you've probably heard about, is the Sellbot Field Offices update.
Yes.
And that is a huge expansion that we've been working on for about 3 years now, on and off at least. We've paused to work on other content updates for the game, but now we're full force on getting it finished up as soon as possible. And it's going to be a really exciting thing for the players, because I don't think a lot of people realize quite how much is actually in this expansion. We have Sellbot Field Offices, which are a brand new building that's going to take over Toon headquarters, kind of repurposed from their original Toontown Online implementation. At the top of the field office, we have a new boss battle. We have a new mini game inside of it where Toons are ice skating around a cold caller office. In addition to that, we've got sort of a new mini playground that we're calling the Toon Resistance Hideout, or the Sellbot Task Force Hideout, and which comes with new Toon tasks and just even more stuff that the players don't even really realize is going to be a part of this update. So we did put out a video recently that has a full explanation of like where things are at and how close it's being to completed. And that's available on our YouTube channel if anyone wants to check it out. So it's going to be super exciting to finally see player reactions to this thing that we've been working on for so long. And to get back to your original question, once we finish up field offices and take probably a much needed break, that's when we'll start the conversations about what's going to be our next big thing, which could very well end up being the cloud, or it could be something else. And I think the way that we're going to decide that is going to be largely based off of what the community tells us that they want to see, and what people want next for Toontown Rewritten. Because ultimately that's, we're making this game for everyone who plays Toontown, all of the players, which include us as big fans of the game ourselves. And so whatever content we create, we want to really believe is going to be something that's well worth the time that it takes to develop, and be something that delivers something huge that the community wants to see.
I see. Well, I'm very excited for those Sellbot Field Offices myself. So that leaves me with my last question. Is there ever going to be any type of Toontown Rewritten mobile app besides the Toon HQ, like any type that, we could play on?
That is a great question. And it's something that we've talked kind of on and off about over the years. A big problem with it is that Toontown is built on very old technology. And not just like technical wise, but in terms of the overall interface of Toontown, is built for a mouse and keyboard. Mm-hmm. And so if we ever ported the game to mobile devices, we would have to really make sure that we're reworking our interface to support both the mouse and keyboard and touch interfaces, in addition to all of the technical work that would be required to port it to a mobile device. I know that there's some other Toontown servers that I think have been pretty successful in getting it on mobile devices. I think some of them, from what I've seen at least, might have a little bit of performance issues or things that don't work as well on mobile compared to the computer. And those are the sort of things that like we would really want to try and figure out as much as possible before we were ever able to do a mobile port of the game. So I don't know. I mean, anything's possible. It could definitely happen. And it's one of those things where, like I said, following field offices, we're going to be listening very closely to what the players want to see most. And if a Toontown mobile app is like the most important thing to people above any sort of content that could be added to the game, then that's the sort of thing that we would shift our focus to next.
Joey, that is awesome. Thank you so much for being on our podcast. Initially creating this podcast, we didn't really think that we would get enough attention. But this is just amazing for us. We hope we didn't take up too much of your time. But that's all we have for you. So.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. And thank you for creating this podcast again. Like I said, it's really awesome to see this sort of creative work being put into Toontown after all of these years. And um, it's great to see the ways that people are finding new ways to invest in the game and invest in creating this community around it. It just as the world evolves, sort of at a faster pace than the game has. So, yeah, it's been really great to be a part of this, and hopefully, sometime I'll be able to come back in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess we'll see you online on Toontown Rewritten.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much, and have a great day.
Awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh my goodness. Amazing, amazing interview. Annie, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and you know what? I just want to say again how incredibly grateful I am to be able to interview someone like him. This has been a dream my whole entire life, and now because we've been bonding over this.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've mentioned this, but we're a father-daughter podcast. I've been playing all these games my whole life, and now I have you playing them.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Toontown Rewritten is just a great way to bond. I've seen other families who play together, on some of the Facebook groups and stuff. So I'm just so incredibly grateful to be able to interview the creative director of Toontown Rewritten, Joey Ziolkowski himself. What a incredibly knowledgeable guy, incredibly kind. It's just so great to be able to do something like this.
And Joey also mentioned that if enough people were interested in some sort of Toontown Rewritten mobile app, that maybe the team might get started on something like that, which I would think that's cool because I get a lot of downtime at work, so I could really get a lot done in the game, in my spare time if it was available on an app.
Yeah, and you know what? I know that I would be interested. I've seen people online who have asked about it and talked about it. So I think that would be incredibly amazing.
I just kind of wanted to give a quick shout out. There's a Facebook group, not the Toontown Rewritten Facebook group. They are absolutely incredible, but there was a second group I wanted to kind of talk about, the Adult Toontown Addicts. And I've kind of been spending a little bit of time there, and they've given me some pretty good tips and tricks, and they kind of welcomed me with open arms, so I just wanted to give them a quick shout out.
That's awesome. You know what? They are a wonderful, great group to be on. Very helpful, very kind people. Great group of people.
Why don't you give our email address out so people know where to correspond?
Sure thing. So our email address is allthingsrewritten@gmail.com. That's allthingsrewritten@gmail.com. You can send us, any questions, just, anything you got for us.
Suggestions.
Any suggestions, any questions, we're open to all of it.
And we also have what is it called? A link tree?
Yeah, we've got a link tree on our Twitter and our Instagram. So our Instagram is Podcast Rewritten, and our Twitter is Podcast Rewrit.
That always just gets me right in the funny bone. Rewrit, like it's in the past. Well, I don't think we have anything else this week. And
that about covers it.
I'm going to actually wrap this up and probably play some more Toontown Rewritten.
I'm right there with you.
All right. See you next week. Bye, everybody.